Welcome to the English Podcast.
For listening and speaking.
Listen to that. Wheels rolling on cobblestones, a key turning, footsteps on unfamiliar floors. That nervous excitement of arriving somewhere completely new.
And then voices from the kitchen. They were cooking dinner when you walked through that door, weren't they, Emily?
Welcome everyone to English Podcast for Listening and Speaking. I'm Emily, and I'm absolutely thrilled you're here with us today.
I'm Brian, and that little scene we painted? That's exactly how thousands of students feel when they first meet their host families.
Today we're diving into something magical. How living with host families becomes this incredible bridge between cultures and faster English learning.
Magic might be overselling it slightly, Emily, but yes, there's definitely something special about learning English while someone's grandmother was teaching you to make cookies.
Brian, where's your sense of wonder? These families were opening their homes, sharing their lives, changing everything for these students.
Fair point. And speaking of changing everything, before we continue, hit that like button if this topic resonates with you.
Yes, share this episode with anyone who's considering a host family experience. Your support means the world to us.
Now, we received some fascinating questions from our listeners. Maria from Brazil asks, what was happening in your mind during those first hours?
Oh, Maria, what a perfect question. Those first moments are so intense. You were probably overthinking every single word you were saying.
And meanwhile, the host family was probably having their own concerns. They were wondering if you were comfortable, if you liked the dinner they were preparing.
Exactly. Everyone was trying so hard to make it work. And you know what's beautiful? Usually within hours, those barriers were melting away completely.
Here's our second listener question. Ahmed from Egypt asks, how quickly did the English learning actually accelerate with host families?
Ahmed, this is where it gets really exciting. Students were hearing natural English conversations from morning until night. Not textbook English, real English.
Right, they were listening to phone calls, family arguments, dinner table discussions, all while they were developing their ear for authentic pronunciation and rhythm.
And the grammar. They weren't studying past continuous in a workbook. They were living it. The kids were playing while Mom was cooking dinner.
Dad was reading the news while we were setting the table. These patterns were becoming natural because they were experiencing them in real context.
It's like the difference between reading about swimming and actually jumping in the pool. You were swimming in English, surrounded by it constantly.
Though, let's be honest, some students were drowning a bit at first. Not everyone was ready for Grandpa's stories about his fishing trips.
Brian, but that's exactly the point. They were pushing through that discomfort zone where real learning happens, where confidence was actually building.
You're absolutely right. And the cultural immersion was happening simultaneously. They were learning why Americans say, "How's it going?" when they weren't really asking about your day.
Or why the family was laughing during TV shows that seemed completely unfunny. These cultural codes were unlocking alongside the language skills.
The acceleration Ahmed asked about? Most students were noticing significant improvements within the first month, not just vocabulary, but natural speaking patterns.
Because they were practicing English for survival, not just for tests. They needed to communicate about real things. Homework help, weekend plans, dietary restrictions.
And the mistakes? They were making them in safe spaces where host families were patient, supportive, often finding their errors endearing rather than problematic.
That's what creates true language confidence. When you know people were rooting for your success, not judging your grammar mistakes during casual conversations.
So Maria and Ahmed, that's just the beginning of what we're exploring today. The real stories get much more interesting than this.
Coming up, we're sharing real student experiences, the challenges, the breakthroughs, and yes, some wonderfully awkward moments that led to beautiful connections.
Don't forget to leave us your own host family questions in the comments. We're reading every single one and planning future episodes around them.
All right, everyone, let's dive into Section 2, First Day, Scenes, Sounds, and Surprises. I want you to close your eyes and imagine this.
Emily, let me share something that happened during my first day. I was standing at the front door with my suitcase when the whole family came rushing out.
Oh, Brian, I'm already getting emotional. They were all talking at once, weren't they? The host parents were introducing themselves, while the host siblings were fighting over who would carry your bags.
Exactly. And while they were showing me around the house, I was trying to memorize everyone's names and figure out the house rules simultaneously.
And there you were, poor thing, nodding and smiling while your brain was processing 50 new pieces of information. Tell me about your guest room experience.
The guest room was interesting. While I was unpacking, I was listening to sounds from downstairs. People were cooking dinner, kids were practicing piano.
The sounds of a real family. I think names matter so much in those first moments. Were you writing them down while everyone was introducing themselves?
Actually, yes. I was scribbling notes in my phone while Mom was explaining dinner time and Dad was showing me the shared spaces. Kitchen, living room.
My first day was completely different. While I was trying to understand the house rules, the teenage daughter was teaching me slang words I definitely couldn't find in textbooks.
That's actually brilliant. While you were learning formal English in school, you were simultaneously picking up authentic, current language from actual teenagers.
Exactly. And the dinner table conversation, oh my goodness. They were discussing school drama while I was desperately trying to follow 3 different conversations happening simultaneously.
I remember that feeling perfectly. They were chopping vegetables for salad while I was trying to remember which child was Sarah and which was Sam.
Oh, Brian, the name confusion. While Dad was asking about my flight, Mom was setting plates, and I was nodding like I understood everything perfectly.
Here's a question for our listeners. Think about your own first impressions. What were you feeling while your host family was showing you around?
Yes, try creating a past continuous sentence about your first day. For example, while my host mom was making tea, I was... What were you doing? Feeling? Thinking?
Back to our stories. The bathroom situation was interesting. I was figuring out shower times while everyone was rushing to get ready for work and school.
The shared spaces were so overwhelming at first. While I was learning their morning routine, they were being incredibly patient with my broken English attempts at conversation.
The patience factor is crucial. While we were making mistakes with grammar, they were focusing on understanding our meaning, not correcting every error.
And the surprises. While I was expecting formal interactions, they were treating me like actual family, asking opinions about TV shows, including me in weekend plans.
That integration process is fascinating. They were creating space for us in their established routines while we were learning to contribute to household dynamics.
I remember my first breakfast. While everyone was rushing around getting ready, I was sitting there wondering if I was allowed to make my own coffee or if I should wait.
Those little uncertainties were actually learning opportunities. While you were hesitating about coffee, you were observing family patterns and cultural expectations about shared spaces.
And the evening routine. While parents were helping kids with homework, I was desperately trying to understand how family time worked in this culture.
What's remarkable is that while we were focusing on survival English, we were unconsciously absorbing complex social patterns and cultural nuances simultaneously.
Brian, that's what makes these experiences so transformative. While our brains were processing language, our hearts were learning to belong somewhere completely new.
The interesting thing about first-day nerves, while we were worrying about making good impressions, our host families were probably having the same concerns about us.
That's so true. While I was panicking about saying the right things, Mom was probably wondering if I liked the dinner she was preparing, especially for my arrival.
The phone calls home that first night were interesting too. While parents were asking if we were okay, we were trying to explain emotions we didn't have vocabulary for yet.
Oh my goodness, yes. While I was crying from overwhelm, I was also crying from joy. But how do you explain that complex emotional mixture in a second language?
That emotional complexity actually accelerates language learning. While we were searching for words to express new feelings, we were stretching our linguistic capabilities beyond textbook limits.
Exactly. And listeners, remember, while these first-day experiences were challenging, they were also the foundation for incredible relationships and language breakthroughs that followed.
We'd love to hear your own first-day stories. Share them in the comments using past continuous. While my host family was doing X, I was feeling Y.
Now let's dive into Section 3, House Rules and Household Chores. This is where role play becomes absolutely essential for building confidence.
Emily, let's be practical about this. Students need clear communication strategies when they're navigating house rules for the first time.
Exactly. So let's role play this. Brian, you're the host parent. I'm the nervous student asking about curfew on my first night.
Of course. Welcome to our home. You could ask about our house rules anytime. We want you to feel comfortable here.
Thank you so much. I was wondering, what's the curfew here? I don't want to worry you if I'm out late.
We're pretty flexible. On school nights, you might want to be home by 11. Weekends are more relaxed. Just text us, please.
That sounds perfect. And about household chores, I really want to help out. What should I do after dinner usually?
We appreciate that attitude. You could help with dishes, or if you prefer, you could take care of recycling twice a week.
I'd love to help with both. Oh, and laundry day. When should I do my washing? I don't want to interfere.
Sundays work well for everyone. Just avoid using the washing machine during quiet hours, between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m.
Okay, everyone. Did you hear that beautiful interaction? Brian showed exactly how to set expectations kindly while I practiced asking for clarification.
Notice the language patterns we used. Modal verbs like could, might want to, and should make suggestions sound less demanding.
And the warmth in Brian's voice. Now let's role play grocery shopping situations. Brian, you're still the host parent. I'm offering to help. I noticed you're preparing for your grocery run today. Would it be helpful if I came along? I could learn the neighborhood too.
That would be wonderful. You could help me remember the shopping list, and I could show you where the international food section is.
This kitchen is busier than mine at home, which makes it fun. Back home, meals were quieter, but here everyone helps cook together.
That's perfect role play. Emily just demonstrated offering help proactively. That's exactly what makes host families appreciate their students.
And notice how I used comparatives naturally. Let's try one more scenario. Brian, you might want to confirm shower times with your host family.
Right. So I could say, I wanted to check about shower times. When works best for everyone's morning routine?
Beautiful. These role plays show exactly how to navigate household dynamics successfully. Now here's a question for our listeners around the world.
Which chore do you enjoy most and which is harder? Share your experiences in the comments. We love hearing from you.
For me personally, I loved helping with cooking. It was warmer and more social than doing laundry alone in the basement.
I actually enjoyed yard work most. It was peaceful. And the host dad taught me about American gardening while we worked together.
But let's be honest, some house rules were confusing at first, like understanding which dishes could go in the dishwasher versus hand washing.
Exactly. And this is where asking questions becomes crucial. You could say, should this go in the dishwasher, or would you prefer I wash it by hand?
And don't forget about those unwritten family rules, like knowing whether you could eat food from the fridge freely or if you should ask first.
Those unwritten rules are tricky. A good approach might be, is it okay if I make myself a snack, or should I check with you first?
The key is being proactive. Don't wait until there's a problem. Ask these questions during your first week when everyone's still establishing routines.
And remember, every family has different systems. Some families were more structured with chore schedules. Others were more flexible and spontaneous.
Yes, some families had chore charts on the refrigerator. Others just expected you to pitch in naturally when you saw something needed doing.
The cultural differences were fascinating too. In some families, shoes came off at the door. In others, that wasn't expected at all.
These cultural nuances make the experience richer. I remember learning that taking out the trash was more complex than I thought. Different bins for recycling.
Recycling systems vary so much by location. You could ask your host family, could you show me how the recycling works here on your first day?
The beautiful thing is how these practical conversations became bonding moments. Folding laundry together often turned into heart-to-heart talks about life and dreams.
That's exactly right. These weren't just chores. They were opportunities to practice English in meaningful contexts while building genuine relationships.
So remember everyone, house rules aren't restrictions. They're roadmaps to successful integration. Embrace them as learning opportunities, not obstacles.
Practice these role-play conversations before you meet your host family. The confidence you build will make those first household discussions much smoother and more natural.
And don't forget, every mistake you make while learning house rules is actually a step forward. Your host family wants you to succeed, so never be afraid to ask for clarification. Now for Section 4, Mealtime Conversations and Cultural Etiquette. Brian, let me paint you a picture that will make everyone's mouth water and hearts flutter.
Emily, I suspect this involves family dinner tables, which are indeed fascinating laboratories for language learning and cultural observation. Let's be practical about this.
Picture this magical scene. The whole family was gathering around the dinner table while Mom was bringing out steaming dishes and Dad was asking about everyone's day.
While that sounds lovely, let's acknowledge that dinner tables can be overwhelming for international students. The conversation topics alone require significant cultural navigation skills.
But that's exactly what makes it beautiful. While the teenage daughter was passing the salt, I was desperately trying to remember proper table manners and practice small talk.
The interesting dynamic is that while parents were encouraging conversation, they were also managing family business, discussing schedules, resolving sibling disputes, checking homework progress simultaneously.
And I was sitting there thinking, if I were unsure about table manners, I'd just watch everyone first. Like when should I ask for seconds, or how to compliment the cooking?
Speaking of table manners, here's a controversial topic: phones at the dinner table. While some families were completely phone-free, others allowed limited usage for emergencies or photos.
Brian, the dinner table is sacred conversation space. While we were all sharing stories and connecting, phones would just destroy that beautiful intimacy and learning opportunity.
But consider this. While traditional conversation is valuable, some families were using phones to translate unfamiliar words, look up cultural references, or share photos from their home countries.
Okay, you have a point there. But imagine being a picky eater at these dinners. While everyone was enjoying exotic dishes, you were trying to navigate food preferences politely.
That's actually an important conversation skill. While host families were preparing meals, they needed honest feedback about dietary restrictions and preferences, not polite suffering in silence.
And speaking of meals, the morning rush. While Mom was preparing packed lunch for everyone, I was learning family breakfast rhythms and trying to contribute without getting in the way.
The gift-giving aspect of meals is culturally complex too. While some students were bringing host gifts to every dinner, others were learning when small gestures were appropriate versus overwhelming.
Let me share my most memorable dinner scene. We were passing dishes around while the family dog was waiting politely under the table, hoping for scraps to fall.
Those pet dynamics added another layer of complexity. While families were teaching table manners, pets were demonstrating their own patience and household rules through their behavior patterns.
And the topics. While Dad was asking about school projects, Mom was sharing neighborhood gossip, and teenagers were discussing friend drama. I was swimming in authentic English conversations.
Topic navigation is crucial for cultural integration. While some subjects were universally safe, food, weather, hobbies, others required more careful consideration based on family dynamics and cultural sensitivities.
This is perfect timing for our audience question. Everyone listening, what topics do you enjoy at dinner and what topics do you avoid? We want to hear your experiences.
In my experience, while families were discussing current events, they were often gauging student comfort levels with potentially sensitive topics through careful observation of facial expressions and responses.
But the magic happened when barriers broke down. While I was sharing stories about my hometown, they were asking genuine questions about my culture. It was this beautiful cultural exchange happening over mashed potatoes.
Those cultural exchange moments were valuable learning opportunities. While students were practicing conversational English, they were also developing diplomatic communication skills for navigating cross-cultural discussions respectfully.
If I were nervous about joining dinner conversations, I'd start by asking simple questions like, how was everyone's day? While people were settling down and getting comfortable.
Smart strategy. While families were expecting students to participate, they understood that confidence building was gradual. Starting with observations rather than opinions often worked well initially.
The laughter at these dinners. While someone was telling funny stories about work, others were chiming in with related experiences. It was like being welcomed into this warm comedy show every night.
Humor translation was particularly challenging, though. While families were sharing inside jokes and cultural references, students were often missing nuances that made stories genuinely funny to native speakers.
Brian, but that's what made it even more beautiful. While I was missing half the jokes, the family was patiently explaining references and including me in their humor. It was so generous and loving.
The patience factor was remarkable. While students were struggling to find words mid-conversation, host families were creating space for slower communication without making anyone feel rushed or pressured.
And the rituals. While everyone was saying grace or sharing daily gratitudes, I was learning that meal times weren't just about food, they were about connection and family traditions.
Those ritual observations were culturally educational. If I were advising new students, I'd suggest asking about family mealtime traditions early. It shows respect and genuine interest in understanding their customs.
The cleanup afterward was bonding time too. While some family members were clearing plates, others were loading the dishwasher, and everyone was continuing conversations from dinner naturally.
Kitchen cleanup conversations were often more relaxed than formal dinner table discussions. While working together on practical tasks, deeper personal conversations emerged more naturally and comfortably.
If I were to give one piece of advice about dinner conversations, I'd say, be genuinely curious. While families were sharing their lives, they wanted to learn about yours too.
The beautiful thing about mealtime etiquette learning is that mistakes were typically met with gentle correction rather than criticism. These families understood the cultural adjustment process requires patience and practice.
And that's the heart of it. While we were learning proper etiquette, we were really learning how to belong to a family, how to share, contribute, and connect across cultures through the simple act of eating together. Now we're moving into Section 5, Fast Track Your English at Home. Brian, this is where I get absolutely excited about practical strategies that actually work in real households.
Emily, let's be systematic about this. Students need practical methods they can implement immediately, not just theoretical advice about language immersion.
Perfect. Let's start with after-dinner shadowing. While my host family was cleaning up, I was quietly repeating phrases I'd heard during dinner conversations.
That shadowing technique is scientifically effective. While you were mimicking natural pronunciation patterns, your brain was processing authentic rhythm and intonation simultaneously.
And it felt magical. While dishes were being washed, I was whispering, "Could you pass the salt? And this tastes incredible," building muscle memory naturally.
The second strategy, label the house, should be implemented immediately. You could place sticky notes on the refrigerator, kettle, and bookshelf for daily vocabulary reinforcement.
Brian, imagine walking through your host home while every object was teaching you. While I was making morning coffee, I was reading coffee maker and sugar bowl.
Chore chat provides excellent practice opportunities. While you're washing dishes, you could describe your actions. "I'm scrubbing this plate carefully," or "These glasses need extra attention."
Yes, we were washing dishes while I was practicing small talk with myself. "I'm rinsing the soap off." It transforms boring chores into language adventures.
The timing is strategic. While family members were doing their evening routines, you had private practice space without feeling self-conscious about making mistakes.
Now, story time. Every night I was sharing one memory from my home country while the family was settling down for bedtime routines. Pure magic.
Storytime serves multiple purposes. While you were organizing thoughts into coherent narratives, you were also building emotional connections through personal sharing experiences.
And they were genuinely interested. While I was describing my grandmother's garden, the youngest daughter was asking follow-up questions. Real conversation practice.
The question of the day jar is particularly clever. You could write conversation starters on paper slips. What's your favorite childhood memory? Or describe your ideal weekend.
The question jar was our family's favorite ritual. While everyone was choosing questions at breakfast, we were all sharing perspectives and learning about each other.
You should ask for gentle corrections from family members. You could keep a phrase notebook for commonly used expressions you hear throughout the day.
Gentle corrections are gifts, not criticisms. While my host mom was helping me pronounce refrigerator correctly, she was showing love through patient teaching.
Here's the truth: real conversations are more powerful than grammar drills alone. Living language practice is more effective than textbook exercises for natural fluency.
Absolutely. While I was studying past tense in books, I was living it naturally. Yesterday, we were making cookies while the kids were playing outside.
You might want to establish specific learning goals with your host family. You could say, "Would you mind helping me practice telephone conversations?"
Phone practice was brilliant. While Dad was teaching me business call etiquette, I was learning formal language that I'd never encounter in casual conversation.
Consistency matters more than intensity. While you were implementing these strategies daily for 15 minutes, you were building stronger habits than cramming occasionally.
These strategies transformed my entire experience. While other students were struggling with confidence, I was having genuine conversations and feeling like family.
Here's our question for everyone listening. Which tip will you try this week at home? Share your choice in the comments. We're excited to hear your experiences.
I'm personally hoping you'll try the story time strategy. While you're sharing personal memories, you're creating beautiful connections that make language learning so much richer.
Start with one strategy that feels comfortable. You could begin with labeling household items while gradually adding chore chat and evening story sessions.
Remember, while you were learning English formally in classrooms, these home strategies were helping you live the language naturally and authentically every day.
These strategies won't eliminate mistakes, but they'll make errors less intimidating. While you were practicing in comfortable home environments, confidence was building naturally.
The most beautiful part? While other students were feeling homesick and isolated, these strategies were helping me create genuine belonging in my temporary home.
Implementation is key. You should choose strategies that match your personality and living situation. You could adapt these approaches to fit your unique host-family dynamics.
And remember, everyone, while you were worried about perfect grammar, these strategies were helping you focus on connection, understanding, and joyful communication that actually matters. Now we're diving into Section 6, Grammar and Phrase Workshop. Brian, this is where we make grammar come alive in real home conversations. No boring formulas, just natural patterns.
Emily, let's focus on how host families actually speak. They're not saying "I was cooking while he was studying." They're living these actions naturally.
Exactly. Picture this scene. Mom was washing dishes when you walked into the kitchen. She wasn't thinking about grammar, she was just living the moment.
That's the key insight. Background actions get interrupted by new actions. The dishwashing was ongoing. Your arrival interrupted that flow naturally.
And then the beautiful interruption happens. While she was scrubbing that pan, you entered and everything shifted. New conversation, new connection, new learning moment.
Listen for when versus while in real speech. When usually signals the interruption. When you came in. While describes the ongoing background.
Now here's where it gets magical. While Mom was finishing those dishes, you could offer help with the sweetest phrase. Do you want me to help with the dishes?
Notice the phrase structure. Do you want me to? Is gentler than should I help? It offers assistance while respecting their choice to accept or decline.
Picture evening time. Everyone was relaxing after dinner when you had this brilliant idea. Could we practice English after dinner? Polite, hopeful, and so endearing.
Could we create partnership rather than requesting a favor? It suggests mutual activity, which makes host families feel included rather than burdened with teaching responsibilities.
And the most thoughtful moment, while everyone was preparing for bed, you were thinking ahead. Is there anything I should prepare for tomorrow? Such beautiful consideration.
That question demonstrates responsibility and consideration for family routines. It positions you as someone who thinks ahead rather than just reacting to situations.
Now let's practice. While you were listening to these phrases, your brain was connecting them with past continuous patterns. This is how natural learning happens.
Let's create scenarios. You could practice, while Dad was reading the newspaper, I was wondering. Then add your polite home phrase naturally.
Here's your challenge, amazing listeners. Post 2 sentences in the comments, 1 past continuous sentence and 1 polite home request. Show us your beautiful English.
For example, you might write, "While my host family was watching TV, I was studying." Then, "Could we practice English after dinner tonight?"
Or try, "While I was doing homework, Mom was preparing snacks." Then, "Do you want me to help with the dishes after we finish eating?"
Notice how these sentences paint complete pictures. The past continuous sets the scene, like background music, while the polite request becomes the main melody.
Brian, that's beautiful. While the family was creating their evening harmony, you were learning to add your own voice to their daily symphony.
Pay attention to timing in real households. Morning chaos. While everyone was getting ready, I was. Evening calm. While we were all relaxing, I was wondering.
The emotional intelligence here is incredible. While you were observing family rhythms, you were also learning when to speak, when to offer help, when to connect.
Let's practice natural pronunciation. Do you want me to help? Emphasis on want shows genuine offer. Could we practice? Emphasis shows hopeful suggestion.
Listen to this beautiful flow. While Mom was folding laundry, I was thinking, is there anything I should prepare for tomorrow's family barbecue?
These patterns help you join family life rather than just observe it. You're not waiting for permission. You're naturally finding moments to contribute.
Exactly. While other students were feeling like outsiders, you were becoming part of the family story, offering help, making plans, showing you care.
Practice this daily. Each evening, reflect. While the family was doing X, I was feeling Y, so I could have said Z. Build your repertoire gradually.
Yes, while Dad was fixing the leaky faucet, I was watching and learning, so I could have asked, "Do you want me to hold the flashlight?"
This retroactive practice prepares you for similar future situations. Your brain stores these sentence patterns, ready for the next time opportunities arise.
And the confidence boost. While you were practicing these patterns, you were building the courage to speak up, to offer help, to be genuinely helpful.
Start with 1 phrase per week. Master, do you want me to help with? First, then add, could we? Conversations. Finally, the preparation questions.
Remember everyone, while you were listening to this workshop, you were already absorbing these patterns naturally. Your English brain is incredible. Trust the process.
The key is observation before action. Watch family patterns first, then find natural moments to use these phrases. Timing makes all the difference.
Don't forget our challenge. Post those 2 sentences, 1 past continuous, 1 polite home request. We can't wait to celebrate your beautiful English progress.
These patterns work because they mirror natural thinking. You observe, you reflect, you offer, just like native speakers do instinctively every day.
While you were learning these amazing patterns today, you were also building bridges to deeper family connections. Go practice, be brave, and make language magic happen. And now we've reached our final section, Section 7, Viral Moment and Closing. Oh, everyone, my heart is absolutely overflowing thinking about this incredible journey we've shared together today.
Emily, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've discovered today. Host family experiences aren't just about English learning. They're about human connection across cultures.
Brian, we've painted such beautiful pictures today. While students were nervously walking through those front doors, they were actually stepping into transformational experiences that would change everything.
Think about the progression we've witnessed. From first-day anxieties to confident dinner conversations, from household confusion to natural family integration, it's quite remarkable.
While host families were sharing their daily routines, they were actually sharing their hearts. These weren't just accommodation arrangements, they were cultural love stories being written in real time.
The past continuous pattern we've explored today does more than teach grammar. It helps students paint complete pictures of their experiences, with all the emotional layers included.
And here's the truth that makes me want to cry happy tears. While students were washing dishes and folding laundry together, something magical was happening that textbooks never capture. A house that shares chores becomes a home that shares stories. That's the beautiful transformation we've been talking about throughout this entire episode.
And English that is spoken at the table grows stronger than English that is kept in a textbook. The dinner conversations we've discussed create fluency that no classroom exercise can replicate.
Everyone, look at this incredible journey we've taken today. From first-day butterflies to mealtime magic, from household harmony to language breakthroughs. We've covered it all with such beautiful detail.
The past continuous has been our superpower today, helping us paint complete scenes with ongoing actions and meaningful interruptions that create the texture of real-life experiences.
While we were sharing these stories, you were probably remembering your own moments, your own first nights, your own family connections, your own language breakthroughs that changed everything.
Which brings us to our final call to action. We want to hear from you. Share your first night sentence using past continuous and tell us one tip you'll try with your host family.
Yes, write something like, "While my host family was preparing dinner, I was feeling nervous but excited." Then tell us, will you try the story time strategy or maybe the question jar?
Don't forget to like this episode if it resonated with you, and share it with anyone considering a host family experience. Your engagement helps us reach more English learners worldwide.
From the bottom of my heart, thank you for joining us today. While you were listening, you were also growing, learning, and preparing for your own beautiful host family adventure.
Remember, even if you accidentally put salt in the host family's coffee or get completely lost trying to explain your hometown's weather patterns, you're still succeeding brilliantly.
Those mistakes become the most precious memories. While you were worrying about perfect grammar, you were actually creating authentic connections that last lifetimes. And that's absolutely magical.
The strategies we've shared today work when you implement them consistently. Start small, be patient with yourself, and trust that every conversation is building your confidence and fluency.
Your English journey isn't just about speaking better, it's about connecting deeper. While you're practicing these phrases, you're actually building bridges between cultures, hearts, and dreams.
Keep an eye out for our future episodes where we'll continue exploring real-world English situations. This podcast community is here to support your learning journey every step of the way.
Until next time, remember, while you were listening today, you were also growing. Keep being brave, keep connecting, and keep making your English dreams come beautifully true.
This has been English Podcast for Listening and Speaking. I'm Brian, alongside Emily, thanking you for spending this time with us. Go practice, make mistakes, and enjoy the journey.
And I'm Emily, sending you all so much love and excitement for your host family adventures. Don't forget to share your past continuous sentences and chosen tips in the comments. Bye, everyone.